Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the auditing class. I'm very happy to have you all here. And I hope you are sitting upright with books in your hand, with notebooks in your hand, with pens in your hand, with some water in your hand, and ready for next 2.5 hours to be very, very present and active. Good evening, Pooja. Good evening, Adil. Good evening, Pooja A, Pooja B. Good evening, Anil. Good evening, Mujahid. Good evening, Mr. Linga. Good evening, Navneet. Good evening, all of you. Welcome back. Good evening, Tanu. Welcome back to our auditing class. And we are going to continue with our chapter number 9. I hope you studied the previous chapter. What is the secret sauce to this soup? Simple repetition, revision, keep revisiting the same thing, and slowly it starts to get in your mind. Okay, that's the only secret ingredient is to be able to write it, to be able to recall it. We have to repeat it. That's the only secret ingredient. So, with that, we'll start with our chapter for today. We have already completed government audit. We have finished. We have finished local bodies. We have finished NGOs. We have finished sole proprietor, partnership, LLP. All these things we have completely finished. So we will continue with the next topic today. Just want to tell you that today's class is very, very, very practical. Okay. Today I'm not teaching you any law. Today I'm not teaching you any standard. Today I'm not teaching you any auditing theory. Today is a very, very practical class. And a lot of it depends on how well you can imagine yourself as an auditor. Today, you forget that you are CA students. Just for today, imagine that you are actually doing an audit. You're not sitting in a class, but you're doing an audit. And the more you can imagine it clearly, the more you'll be able to do today's work well. Today, we are going to deep dive into different types of entities. We are going to see how to audit them. You are not going to study a new essay. All that has been done. Now it's the time to apply your understanding of audit procedures, all that inquiry, observation, inspection, but without using the words of inquiry, inspection, and observation, but actually doing the audit. So today is that kind of a day. Okay, so all of you are ready? Today there will be a lot of interaction. Please be active and don't just sit like a one person audience, one way audience. Okay, all right. Ready, ma'am. Good. Let's first start with small understanding. Okay, pay attention here. Forget your book for now. To audit anything, to audit any institution, business, okay, to audit any institution or any business. First, I'm giving you a small tip and a trick to remember, okay? I'm giving you a small tip and trick to remember. Do you remember that last time I actually did one practical question with you that was audit of an NGO? I told you that to audit anything, you have to imagine items of balance sheet and P&L. To audit anything, you should be able to imagine the items that you can find in a balance sheet and in a P&L. That was basic that I gave you. Now, to audit anything, even if a question comes, audit a library and it's not there in your book, but it's a generic thing that is being asked. Just imagine that how do we do things? And so I am giving you a general trick to answer any kind of question in case you have forgotten specific answers. Okay, so just understand this. To audit anything, first sip. real. Remember this word, SIP real. Okay? CIP real. Okay? What does this mean, ma'am? SIP means to audit any institution, first remember two main things. You always have to check about constitution and you have to check compliances. C means checking the constitution, checking the compliances. What does constitution mean? It means examining whatever laws govern them, whatever rules govern them, their MOA, AOA, if it is applicable, checking their minutes. Okay. So overall, this knowledge of everything is the first thing that will be required in many of the audits. So the first thing is constitution. And again, compliance means verification of all the laws and regulations. So C means that for any, here we can focus on tax payments like TDS, GST, these kind of things. So compliances can also be ROC compliances. Okay. So if you are auditing an NGO which has foreign donation, it can also have compliances of FCRA. So one second trick you remember that in any kind of question that requires you to audit any institution or any business, the first is C, that is checking of constitution or compliances. Next, ICS. What is ICS? Can anyone tell me? In any audit, in any audit program of any institution or any business, we need to check ICS. What does it mean? Any guess? Very good, Pranav. Very good. Pranav is the first one to give answer. Pranav Prince. What is your name? Is it Prince or is it Pranav? Or is it together? Pranav Prince. So answer is correct, Pranav Prince. Internal control system. Okay. So for any organization, internal control system. Usually, if it is a theater, we will check tickets related internal control system. If it's a hotel, what do you think? Which internal control system will majorly check? Like in cinema theater, one of the biggest internal control system is regarding ticket sales. If you are auditor of a hotel, what do you think should be the biggest internal control systems? Which areas? Which areas would it be? Which area would it be? Rooms, right? Sale of rooms or inventory, because in hotels there are small shampoo bottles, conditioner bottles, towels. So many small things are there. So internal control system usually becomes an important part. Rooms and inventory, good. Now the fourth thing that is usually checked is accounting policies and procedures, accounting records. So whether revenue expenditure is correctly classified as revenue, capital is correctly classified as capital, valuation is correctly done, depreciation is correctly accounted. So the third thing that we usually see when we audit any kind of institution or a business are the policies and records. Everyone clear till now? SIP is done. SIP is done. Very simple. Now let's come to real, SIP real. Then in any kind of audit, you have four real things to see. You will laugh when I tell you what it means. Okay, it's so easy. We check receipts, expenditure, assets, and liabilities. So hard, right? So tough. Receipts, expenses, assets, and liabilities. This is the balance sheet thing I told you. Do you remember? So in any audit, so when we were doing NGO audit, what did we check in receipts? What all did we check in receipts? When we were doing NGO audit, what did we check in receipts? In any audit, we have to check receipt, donations, membership fees, correct. Grants you get, very good. Then any income from fundraising programs, right? Subscriptions. So in any audit, what do we check? Receipts. But why our common sense is needed? Because for which business, what kind of receipts will be there? That knowledge I should have. So if I have taught you NGO and I taught you donation and grants, but when we are auditing a hotel, so there also you have to audit receipts. But in hotel, will you find like this donations and all? Will that be a priority item? But is it still verification of receipts when you're checking room billing and room income? So it is revenue. So receipts means any kind of inflow. Okay. Just remember any kind of inflow. This inflow can be as fees, can be sales, can be donation, can be grants, can be subsidies, any kind of thing. Okay. Next important thing is that in any audit, we have to keep in mind that we have to check expenses, but not small expenses that I'll check courier and all. We have to keep in mind major. See, in real life, actually, we check everything. In real life, we do. But that audit program will be like 30 pages, 40 pages big, right? But we can't write a 30, 40 pages big answer in our exam. So we will look into mind that what is the most important expenses that depends on the type of business. Okay. So we have to see according to the business what kind of expenses we have to see, which are most material as per the situation. Okay. Next, we check assets. Assets may don't forget if you have received, it includes your investments, inventory, it includes your fixed asset, obviously. Okay. It includes any kind of advances you have given. Okay. So if you're supposed to receive something outstanding, that is also there. It can also have your cash in bank. Many things can be there in assets. So you have to see as per the situation, which are the most important in this situation. That is a little bit of mind that we have to apply of our own. Liabilities, usually. So in NGO, corpus fund, earmarked fund, reserves and surplus was very important. So here it depends on the situation. It can be reserves and surplus. It can be loans. It can be any kind of arrears. Okay. It can be any kind of these things can be part of your liabilities. So if you have to audit any institution or business, SIP real. Remember this trick. Remember this trick. SIP real. Can you remember? So we will study each thing. We will study audit of hotel, audit of hospital. We'll study everything. But if an exam you get stuck, suddenly you're blank, you forget something. What is the common trick from which you can write at least some points. You can get some good marks. That is, that any business will have some point from Cyprian. Everyone clear? Everyone clear? Can I move on? You can take screenshot of this if you want. I'm holding this for a few seconds. You can take screenshot. Once screenshot is done, just send me a thumbs up so that I can move on and change the screen. Done. Okay. Done, ma'am. Okay. Perfect. Now let's start with a small example. Okay. Let's start with a real question from book. Let's imagine that you are doing audit of an educational institution. It can be a college, it can be a school, it can be a university also. Okay. So let's imagine you are doing audit of this. Let's apply our Cyprian. Then we'll see the actual answer from the book. Okay, let's apply a Cyprian. So if I'm made auditor of any college, let's say a big university college, okay, they are doing BCom programs. So I'm auditor of that. I will first see. What is C? I'll check constitution. So I will study clearly whether there are any. So as an auditor, question is create an audit program or what are the steps involved in verification of a school. So I can check its trust deed, rules and regulations. Okay. So I will check all this and various acts applicable. So what are the various acts that are applicable on this BCom college? Let's imagine we are auditing a nice big BCom college. So I'm checking the trust deed, rules, regulations, laws and regulations applicable. And also, do you remember I told you, what did I tell you? That whenever we study, we need to check the minutes also, right? So let's see that I will also go through the minutes. Why do I go through minutes? I come to know what were the major decisions taken, how many meetings happened. So I get an overall idea of what kind of businesses and what kind of activities happened in the college. Okay. So minutes to understand the managing committee of the college. Okay, whether principal is attending all the meeting, whether the trustees are attending the meeting. So I'll get an overall idea. Okay. This will also give me idea about operations. Okay. It will overall give me an idea about all the operations. Okay. So general is done. I have done the basic constitution work. Okay. Then let's say I start imagining its balance sheet and P&L. So in P&L, one of the most important source and one of the biggest thing that I will find in a college will be fees. Will be fees from students. Now, is it enough? So suppose Balia Patro, okay, one of the student here, suppose Balia Patro is my audit assistant. And I am her principal, okay? I am his principal. So he is doing articleship under me and I tell him, go Balia Patro, you go to this BCom college and check fees. Go and audit the fees. Is that enough? Or will Balia Patru need more details that, ma'am, how do you want me to verify fees? Is it enough if I write as an auditor, check fees? Or do I also have to give instructions in my audit program that what all you can do to check fees and find sufficient evidence? Can I just say to Balia Patro, go check fees? I need to give him a list. I need to provide him with details. Okay. So suppose Balia Patro came to me, ma'am, you told me to verify fees, but I'm confused. What all should I check? So I just checked fees receipts. That's it. So I say, Balia Patro, that just by checking fees, you will not know what is omitted. You will not know how many are missing. So what you do, Balia Patro? You do one thing. You go and check student fee register and compare it with all the class registers. What will happen? Why am I giving this instruction to Balya Patro? Why am I giving this instruction? That check student fees register with class registers. Matching concept. So, if in class register, each class is showing 60 students, and total students of BCom first year is 200, but receipts in student fee register is only 150, then why are 50 people not giving money? Which means you can also get proper details about any kind of scholarships. So if we have to check the fees properly, we should also get what? Scholarship details. Here, we can also check what? We can check counterfoils plus cash book, bank book I can check properly, T register is there. Okay. Then what is the next important thing that happens? Arrears. Some people are not paying fees. That is also part of checking what? Fees from students. So when we are checking fees, we are checking all the fees register, class register, scholarships, counterfoils, cash book, bank book, any arrears are there, out of which, if any, irrecoverable, if any, irrecoverable, that also you need to mention. Then what other things we receive from students? What is counterfoil? So counterfoil simply means, have you ever deposited any check or cash in bank? Any check or cash in bank you have deposited? So it's like this. It's like a big slip. There will be a margin here. One they will keep, one I will keep. So they will have a proof that they have deposited fees. I will have a proof that they have deposited fees. Bushra Yusuf, yes, in demand draft also you get it. That is called as counterfoil. Okay. Someone said late fees. Who said late fees? I just saw it. That ma'am will check late fees. Very good, Tanu. You have started thinking like an auditor. Very good. I'm very happy. So you have to check any late fees received. Then we have to check whether any penalty collected on late fees. So again, this is all part of checking fees. See, imagine, just to check fees, we have to check so many things, right? After checking so many things only, we will get confirmation of sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. Okay. So student fees is something that you pay regularly. But other than that, there is something called as admission fees. Is admission fees same as yearly fees? Is admission fees same as yearly fees? Okay. The yearly fees that we pay, does it go to P&L, yearly fees. When we pay yearly fees, is it kind of a revenue? Yearly fees is a revenue? Yes. But usually, admission fees goes to capital fund, okay? Unless managing committee has separate policy, okay? So by default, any admission fees that you pay at the time of getting admission, which is one-time fees, that can usually go to capital fund. So you have to see that what is the accounting policy and whether if they are not crediting it in capital fund, then what is the accounting treatment they are giving and why, and whether it has been agreed by all the managing committee members. Okay. Late fees, all these are done. What is another fees that they can get from students? We have done student fee, register, class register, normal fees, counterfoils, cash and bank, arrears we have done, late fees, penalty we have done, admission fees we have done, yearly fees, all exam fees and everything is done. Another thing is hostel fees, mess fees. Okay. That is all. What fees you are telling me? Exam fee, stationery fee, that comes in a single receipt only. Okay. So that is normal fees. So hostel fees, mess fees, all this can be different kind of fees from students. Everyone clear till now? There is no end. None of your answers are wrong. Your answers are not wrong. That exam fee is not there. It's there. Okay. Stationery fee, many things they take. Computer fees, cyber fee, all these they take. But that we can club under general fees. Think about materiality. Okay. Lab fees can be there if it's a science related college. Okay. So overall, this is how we will check fees from students. Understood? Whatever kind of fees you have collected, check the student fee register and match it with class registers and scholarships. That is what waiver, scholarships, concessions also you can call it. Okay. This part is done, everyone. Please understood how to imagine the answer. The more you become practical with it, it will be easier for you to do this chapter. Okay. You can memorize also, but you can understand and learn. I can directly do this from the book for you. I can read it for you, make you underline. But when we are discussing and doing it, you'll remember for a much long period of time. Okay. So that's why I don't want to show you the answer. I want you to think the answer. Make answer with me. Okay. So fees from students is one of the biggest receipts. We are doing real. Okay. REAL. Okay. Here in fees from students, you can also mention good internal check system should be there, right? Proper internal control system should be there for the fees. That's it. Come next. Now we are still on doing receipts. What other receipts can be there other than fees? Other receipts can be any kind of grants. Can school receive grants? Have you heard government granted school? Can school receive grants? Yes. School can also receive donations, legacies. So that also we can verify. And next, they can also receive income from rent and investments. Okay. They can also receive income from rent and investment. So these are the other receipts. Okay. We are still doing R. So here Here we did C. Okay. Here we did R also and we did I also, because in real life points get merged. And this is also R. Okay. When we did this point, we also checked accounting policy. So this is also P. SIP real. So we are doing R is done. Now let's talk about expenditure. Let's talk about expenditure. What is one of the biggest expenses in schools, in college, BCom college? Salaries. Very good. See, all of you know, have you studied the book? You are giving me these answers. Have you studied the chapter before? Have you studied the chapter before? Then how are you able to give answers? How are you able to give answers? How are you able to give answer if you have not studied? Hmm? Because by now we should understand the logic of audit. Okay. Okay. Payments to staff. It includes provident fund contribution, salary. Okay. All this needs to be properly checked. All this needs to be properly checked. Okay. Then in expenditure, there can be 1,000 things. I cannot write for 4 or 5 marks. In exam, what is the maximum points that you can get for each question? 5 marks. Now I can't write each expense, postal expense, uh, class expense, lab expense. I cannot write 200 kinds of expenditure. So you always divide the expense that if any kind of capital expenditure has been done, it is properly authorized. Okay. And then remember, I taught you a word in last class: establishment expenses. What is establishment expenses? What is establishment expenses? I taught you this word in the last class. We'll check establishment expenses. Running day-to-day expenses. So you just check anything unusual, anything unusual, check with budget, compare it with budget, whether day-to-day expenses are not exceeding the budget too much. And last expense, if specific purpose grant or donation, correct expenditure for correct purpose. So if any expenses have been done, but it is done from some donation or grant, we need to check whether it is done for the correct purpose or not. Everyone clear till now? Everyone clear? Okay. RE is done. Now let's come to real ka last AL. Real ka REAL. Assets and liabilities. Okay. Now, assets and liabilities, let's think about assets first. Okay. So I told you they can have investments, they can have, yes or no? Schools, colleges, investments and all they can have. So we can keep checking it properly. Of course, they can have fixed assets and all, that is normal. Then what else? Investments can be there. One very important thing that schools and colleges they have is inventories and stores. How do schools and colleges have a lot of assets in terms of stores and inventories? How do they have a lot of stores and inventories? Can anyone tell me what does it mean by stores and inventories will be there? Books, sports equipments, clothing, stationery, furnitures, projectors. Yes or no? Lab equipments, sports equipments, very good. Furniture, everything is part of it. So, as an auditor, you will be required to verify it properly. So, all the purchases that you're doing for the small things, whether it is properly authorized or not, there is a system of it. Some colleges can also have a canteen or a mess. So, there can even be provision of foods and all that is ordered regularly. So, that is also kept properly. That also we need to check. Everyone clear till now? Till here you are with me? Okay. Now, one of the another assets can be arrears, because there can be arrears of fees, hostel rent. So that also we need to check properly if they have become very old. So if some arrears more than 5 years old, 10 years old, then that we can ask them to, if you're not recovering, remove it, create provision of it. Do you understand? Write it off. All these things we can do. So Shama Sundar is saying fixed deposits. Of course, fixed deposit, if I am writing a 20-30 page audit program, your answer is absolutely not wrong. Okay. We will check fixed deposits. But is fixed deposit very special to school, or it can be part of any business? Or we are specifically looking at special things that are very important, regular part of a college? So, your answer is absolutely not wrong, Shamasundar, but we are restricting ourselves to understanding the most material points. Okay. Of course, we will check cash, we will check bank balance, we will also check fixed deposits. All these things are required, current assets, current liabilities. So, all these things we need to check in general when we are making a complete audit program. But here we are studying that what are the special points that we need to keep in mind when doing the audit of a college or an educational institution. Everyone clear? So this part we done. So any kind of arrears and all, we have to be cautious that if it has become very old, we have to advise them why it is still outstanding. While categorizing revenue and capital, we have to fulfill AS9, absolutely. Revenue recognition. Okay. So we are done. And last thing that we need to check. See, your book has also not given depreciation, but do you think checking of depreciation is wrong? So if you write technically, is depreciation wrong? No, it's not wrong. We just have to prioritize. Okay. So even if you write, so suppose that's why I told you. Keep in mind the Cyprial. Any point in time you feel that I am not remembering the exact point from the book, you still can use your own mind to write something. We have to try to write the exact points first. That is, should be our first try. But if you're not able to remember, does it mean that our answer needs to be a blank page? Does it mean that our answer needs to be a blank page? Suppose your mind becomes blank, anything happens, you know the logic now. So you can write depreciation if you can't remember anything else. Understood? Right now, I'm telling you the brief, then we'll see the book. Then you'll know, Anil. Okay? In real life, we go into lot more depth. But this is kept in mind from overview point of view in the book. Okay. Because you cannot actually create an audit program in your exam paper from start to end. It is a very lengthy document. But this much is enough so that you can, when you get in real life, you know where to start the work. Okay. The last thing that we will audit. So, do you remember Cypriel? In Cypriel, what was the second point? Compliances. So that is why I told you, Bushra, you have to write this answer which I am telling you. Okay? You have to write this answer which I am telling you, which is from the book. But if your mind becomes blank and you can't remember any point from the book, don't leave your answer empty, because everything follows the rule of Cypriel. You are checking either receipts, you are checking either internal control, you are either checking assets, you are checking liabilities, you are checking expenditure. So within that rule, if you write answer, then you won't get zero. Is that clear? So if you, my primary objective is follow this, follow which I am teaching you. But if you can't, and if you forget, you can still follow the Cypriel rule, because all answers follow this rule. Is that clear? Okay. First priority is write from the book. But even from the book, I'm trying to make a trick for you to memorize. So this answer, see in the book, how is it given? Can you see? It's a 3-page answer. Can you see in the book? Can you memorize the whole 3 pages? Exactly. Word to word. So I'm trying to give you a logic so that you can learn better. It does not mean that I said you don't have to learn anything. I'm giving you a logic to learn what you anyway would have to learn. Understood? So I'm just making your learning process a little easier rather than rectification. Is that clear? Next is compliances. Yes, you need to correlate and study. Oh yeah, liability side is spending. Liabilities, let's look at liability. One of the most important things that I am telling you is a new word for you. Okay. So I'm teaching you something new that is called as caution money. This is one of the most unique liability in a college, school, or university. So caution money. Have on any of you understood what is rent? Normal rent, you understand? When you take a home on rent, they take deposit from you. Have you seen that? So suppose you are renting a small apartment for 10,000 rupees per month, and they're asking that give 40,000 rupee deposit. No, that's not advance. That's not advance. If you have paid 40,000 deposit, do you don't have to pay 10,000 rupees rent per month? If you pay 40,000 deposit, you don't have to pay 10,000 rupees rent per month. Then how is it an advance? Then how is it an advance? Think logically. So it's a security deposit. Why is it given? So that in case you go without giving proper notice, you damage something, the money can be deducted from that security deposit, yes or no? That is why they take your security deposit. This is called as caution money. So in some universities, some colleges, there can be a policy to take caution money from students when taking admission. So usually this is refundable. So that can appear in liability side, which you have to check properly. Is that clear to everyone? That can appear in the liability side, which you have to check properly. Completed? Now you'll tell me, ma'am, loans, if we have taken any loans, that can also be on liability side. Of course it can be, but is it there in your book? No. That's why I told you unique points. Is that clear? Generic points can be 30 pages, can be 200, 300 points. But we are focusing on specific points. So that's it. This is audit of a college educational institution. We have taken a BCom college. I'll just quickly go through and then we'll see the book. We have to check trust deed rules and regulations, what acts are applicable, read the minutes, managing committee and their operations, check the fees from students, student free register match with class register, scholarships and concessions, check the counterfoils and match with bank and cash book, check if any arrears are there and if they are recoverable, check if there is any late fees or penalty applicable, check any admission fees received and whether it is put in the capital fund unless otherwise specified by managing committee, any hostel fees, mess fees. Then grants, donations, legacies, and incomes from rent and investment. This is another other receipts that you can check. Expenditure, payment to staff, provident fund, salary. Capital expenditure are properly authorized. Establishment expenditure, anything unusual, compare it with the budget. And if the money has been received for some specific purpose, whether it is correctly spent. Then assets and liabilities. Assets may check investments, check stores and inventories, check all the arrears. And in liabilities, check caution money. And last, check all the compliances. Everyone clear? Can I go to the book now? Can I go to the book now? Okay. Now see the book. So we'll quickly go through the book. Caution money only I explained for the past 15 minutes. Pooja. What disconnected? Caution money is like security deposit in case you do any damage to the college so that they can cut money from that and not refund you. So this is extra money taken at the time of admission and kept as security deposit. Everything clear? So audit of educational institution, school, college or university. Now see, here itself is written special steps involved in their audit, special steps, okay? Not the whole audit program. But what if in exam you are asked, write an audit program or you're asked, create an audit checklist for audit of school? The answer will still be same, okay? The answer will still be same. So the first thing we're checking the trust deed, regulations, provisions affecting, act of legislature, regulations framed. Go through the minutes of the meeting of the managing committee or governing body, resolutions affecting accounts, decisions regarding bank accounts and sanctioning of expenditure. Sanctioning means authorization. खर्चे अप्रूव करके होते हैं स्कूल कॉलेज में. No one is owning it. Everyone has to agree. Okay. Fees from students. This can be a separate question. This can be a separate question. Okay. This can be a separate question. Please remember that. How will you create an audit checklist for verification of fees from students in case of a school, in case of a college? So this can be a separate question in exam. So just remember the keywords. Check the names entered in student fee register for each month or team with class registers showing name of students on rolls and test amounts of fees charged. And verify these operates a system of internal check, that is properly demands are raised against students. So the school should have proper internal control system. So basically they have a software जहाँ पे जिसका भी fees, if some fees is not paid, it keeps showing alert. They keep sending messages to their parents. That is called as internal check. Then if fees is received, compare it with counterfoils of receipts granted, entries in cash book, tracing collections in fees register so that it is properly accounted. Next, so do you remember SIP? What was P? Proper accounting policies and proper accounting records. Then total up the various columns of fees register for each month to ascertain fees paid in advance have been properly carried forward, and any arrears that are irrecoverable should be written off after sanction of appropriate authority. Then check admission fees with admission slips is signed properly. Amount has been credited to capital fund unless managing committee has taken a decision to the contrary. See that free studentship and concessions are properly authorized as per the rules. Confirm fines for late payment or any absence is properly collected and remitted under proper authority. Confirm that any hostel dues were properly recovered before student went off, and deposit of caution money is properly refunded. Ma'am, schools and colleges which are running school business are audited as per this process? Yes. This is the process of auditing a school. Okay. Of course, things can get added, deleted depending on what software the school is using, how much IT they are using, how much automation they are using, how many branches they have. So your audit program can change according to these details, but this is the generic skeleton. See, all of us can look different, right? All of us can be little dark, fair, big, thin, but skeleton is the same, right? So what I am trying to teach you is the skeleton. What the book is also trying to teach you is generic skeleton. But when you go in real life, it can be of different shape and size. Is that clear? But skeleton, the base remains the same. Is that clear, Pranav Prince? Now, other receipts and grants. So we are done with this fees part. Other receipts and grants. So rental income, I already told you. Income from endowments and legacies. Endowments is similar to donation. Interest and dividends from any investments. Then any local authority grant. Then we have to see any expenses done that is not allowed. So we have to check why wrong expenses were done. All these points need to be checked. Then we check expenditure. Proper provident fund money of the staff is properly invested. We have to check donations properly with the list in annual report. If donation is meant for specific purpose, see it is used correctly. Vouch all the capital expenditure and that it is properly sanctioned by the committee. Vouch all the establishment expenses and any unduly heavy expense. If a budget is there, check if there is any excess expenditure. if it was properly authorized by the managing committee. If there is any increase in salaries of the staff, that should also be properly sanctioned by the committee. Now, last, assets and not last, second last, assets and liabilities. Report any heavy arrears on dormitory rents and fees. Confirm the caution money is shown as liability unless they are non-refundable. If it's refundable, it's a liability. See proper investments replacing endowment funds for prizes. So if you have created any prizes or scholarships, it's shown properly. Any income in excess of prize has been accumulated and invested. Ascertain that the system ordering inspection on receipt and issue of provision, food, clothing, other equipment is proper and efficient. This is again checking internal control system. Verify inventories of the furniture, stationery, clothing, provision, equipment, etc. Check inventory register is properly maintained and do some test checking. And last is compliances. Check whether if there is any refund of tax deducted from investments has been properly claimed and recovered, because usually schools are exempted. Verify annual statements properly of accounts. See, there is separate statement of account for different funds, games fund, boys fund, hostel fund. So properly distinguishment is there. And verify the annual statement same. This is same repeated. Okay. This is repeated. Everyone clear? Any doubt? We are done with the answer. Can I move on to the next topic? Can everyone quickly tell me clear? Do you want to take any picture of these things? No, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am, I want. It's so much like a blackboard. I don't know how much you'll understand. Okay. First, take this much. If you are understanding anything, then I'll show you the red part. Okay. Balya Patro. Taken this much. Now I'll show you the red one. Take this much. And now I'll show you the red one. Done? Ma'am, show one by one. Okay. This much first. This much is enough. One. This will be a little long. Two. Two. Three. Three. Four. Okay. Harsh. Ma'am, while looking into minutes of the meeting of institute, auditor should only catch up with finance matters. Anything that you feel is important, you can catch up with any decisions. New trustee has been added. You can see that also. It's not necessary, but of course, we focus that it should be related to true and fair view. So it should be somewhere related to my requirements. Okay. Anything that is I require under the act to check. So it should be as per the scope of my work. Okay. Can we go to the next topic now? No restrictions. Yeah. You don't have any restrictions. You can have complete access of my minutes book. They cannot tell you no. Management. They cannot tell you that we'll give you only minutes book about financial matters. No, they have to give you all the minutes book. So we'll move on to the next topic. Yes, yes, Harsh, no problem at all. I'm very happy to provide you whatever is there on the screen. Please use it. It is all for you all only. Okay, no problem to me. I'm happy whatever helps you. Okay. Now let's move on to the next. Income from endowments. Okay. So suppose Bushra, you are an alumni of, let's say, XYZ college. Okay. And you have become a very rich person. Okay. So Bushra, you have now become a rich person. You say this college has helped me a lot. So I'm endowing 10 lakh rupees to this college for all the girls who come from marginal communities. So if you are from below the poverty line, if you give admission, then that fund can be used to give scholarship to that girl. Firstly, this much is clear. That is an endowment. Now, do you think this whole endowment can be used in 1 year? So suppose if you have given 10 lakh, 15 lakh, is it possible it is used fully in 1 year? No. So if that money is kept in some account and you are generating some income out of it, that should also be added back to the endowment fund. Now, is it clear, Bushra? Is it clear, Bushra? Income. Income from the fund. Income from the fund. So if you have given 10 lakh to the college to give to only girls who are coming from a certain marginalized background, they can use it for next 5 years. They will not use it in 1 year only. So they can keep that money and whatever income, suppose savings interest come, basic FD interest they earn from it. They can keep that money and add it back to the fund itself. Is that clear? Now let's come to audit of hospital. Pay attention. Audit of hospital. Again, first let's do the real. Okay. Let's do the real and internal control system. One of the most important things about a hospital is patients and doctors. Let's first talk about patients. So again, we are only thinking about special points. Okay. We are not writing everything. Let's think about patients. Okay. So we are talking about R, receipts plus internal control system. So in patients, we have to check, of course, register of patients. And this we have to cross verify with bills issued. We have to see with bills issued along with attendance record. Okay. So this will help us to see that all the things have been correctly matching with each other. So register of patients will usually have name and other details. Bills will have proper all the treatment charges, room charges, operation charges. And attendance, usually nurses and the people who manage the patients keep that how for this ward was occupied for 3 nights by Mr. Shankar. It was occupied for 4 nights by Mr. Anil, like that. So that is called as attendance record. So this all needs to be checked and we have to see that everything is recovered as per rules of hospital. So this is one of the most things. Again, in patients only, we have to check cash and bank. Okay. So we have to see properly cash and bank books. We have to see counterfoils if we have any issued or any receipts we have issued. All these things we need to check. Yes, Anil. Room days and all needs to be checked. Okay. So if Anil was admitted for 5 days, the bill should be for 5 days, right? The bill cannot be for 3 days or the bill cannot be for 9 days. So we have to check that also. So we cannot just check the bills. We have to match the records with other things. Okay. This much is clear? Okay. So patience, this is one of the most important thing. Then what can be other receipts? We are still doing R. The other receipts again in case of hospitals can be donations. Can hospital receive donation? We are still doing R, that is receipts. Patients includes everything. Bills means it includes consultation, surgery, everything. We cannot write each and everything, okay? So can donations be received in kind and in cash? So we have to check properly whether utilized for specified purpose. Whether utilized for specified purpose. Then do you know, I don't know if you know, some hospital also have subscriptions. Do you know that? Do you know that some hospitals also have subscriptions? What does subscription mean in a hospital? Yeah. So these can be like annual. So like annual health checkup subscription. So these kind of subscriptions also people can apply for. So here also it can be a form of receipts. So till now we did R. What all we did in our patients, all kind of money that we receive from patients as bills, donations, and subscriptions. So these are all R. Okay. Now think about expenses. E. Now think about expenses. Expenses mean, sorry, 1 second. E. So in hospitals, whenever you are making any kind of expenses, who wrote that he can visit whole month? Okay. When you are doing expenses, there are two main things, okay? Budgets plus sanction. So firstly, for any expense, there should be a proper budget and then it should be properly authorized. Okay. So in hospitals, we need to check there should be proper budget and there should be proper sanction and authorization of the same. Okay. So all this should be done. So this one is done. Next important thing, asset. Let's talk about asset. One of the most important asset is inventories. All the small things, injections, all the pharmacy equipments, gloves, pipes, monitors, everything. So inventory plus all the property. They are the biggest assets, all the big equipments, MRI machine, CT scan machine, ultrasound machine, X-ray machine, all these big things, machines, the building and the inventory. They are the biggest thing. For both of them, there should be registers. So auditor also needs to check the registers properly. Okay. The auditors also needs to check the register properly. And for the inventories, the auditor needs to check internal control system. Why internal control system? If Adil wants to go to a hospital, can he enter the pharmacy and just take out any medicine himself? Do you think it's very dangerous if anyone can take any medicine? Do you think it's very dangerous if anyone can take any medicine? Even if you are working in hospital as a peon, can peon be given access to the medicine cabinet? Even if you are working as an employee? So there should be proper internal control system that how medicines are purchased, who issues the medicine, who uses the medicine. The stock register should be properly maintained. Is that clear? And because they have a lot of equipments and buildings, here depreciation is important because they have a lot of depreciating machines. So here you can check and verify depreciation also. Till now it's clear, everyone? Okay. And one more income that you can have is income from investment and rent. Okay. Hospitals don't have any bad debts. First, you have to pay the money, then your uh, treatment is done, right? So usually hospitals have decent amount of extra land or extra liquidity to invest. So that is why one of the receipts for a hospital can be investment and rent. Now, this is what your book has written as the answer. But of course, you will think, ma'am, salary for the doctors, that should be there, ma'am. All these things, of course, should be there, but we are focusing. So that's why I say no answer is a wrong answer. That's why I tell you that when you do Cypriel, when you're making an audit program, we are not saying that which answer is wrong and which answer is right. So if I want to write salaries, it's not a wrong answer, but we want to focus that what points are the most material as per the book. Is that clear? As per the book. That's it. So, audit of a hospital. What was our? So, usually bank assets and liabilities done. Usually, hospitals do not have very big liability side. Is that clear? The most liability they might have is some payment or some loans that they have taken from bank to upgrade the hospital or some working capital limit that they have taken from bank. That's it. That is usually the most important part, but it's not a very specific part. So that is why there's nothing in liability much. Clear? Okay. So what all did we do? Audit of a hospital. First, let's look at all the patients. Patients. Register of patients, bills issued, attendance record, cash and bank reconciliation. It should be properly recovered as per the hospital policy. Income from investment and rent. Income from donations, legacies. You can also add here grants. All are same, okay? Means all are one kind of thing, utilized for specific purpose. Then any kind of subscriptions if you have received, annual health checkup. Then budgets is properly made, sanction. Very good, Archana. So, say very good point, Archana. So, suppose you are writing, I told you that all expenses should be sanctioned. So, here in examples, you can write that we have to do authorization of salaries, incentives, day to day expenses like electricity. Very good, Archana. So, now you found a way. This is your main game. Underneath it, you can write as many points. Okay. So this I would, so this point is done. So subscriptions, expenditure, budgets and sanction, maintenance expense also comes under budgets and sanction. Then assets, we can check inventories and properties, proper register, internal control system, depreciation. Okay, so we are done with explaining. You can write down if you want, take a screenshot, very small answer. But if you do it properly, you can get full marks in exam, okay? So if you do it properly, you can get full marks. Take screenshot. Then I'll go to the book. Ma'am, what if in case special surgeon visits for special surgery? So that you collect as income from patients. So it will come under bills. And if you pay to that special surgeon, it will come under sanction. So if special surgeon came, we must have collected the bill from patient. So it comes here. And if we pay to that special surgeon, it comes under sanction. Done, Anil? Everything is within these points. Okay, so this is done. Let's go to the book. All these hospital audit, they are very specific questions in exam, very legendary classic questions. You'll find lot many times they have been asked. So audit of hospital. Let's go to the special steps as usual. Again, everywhere we are doing the real SIP formula, SIP real, okay? So first we check patients. What do we check? Register of patients with copies of bill. We can see bills of some selected period with patients attendance record and see that bills are correctly prepared. Also see that bills have been issued to all patients. Means what does it mean? No omission. Check there is no omission. Okay. From whom an amount was recoverable according to the rules of the hospital. Next, collection of cash. Check cash collection as entered in cash book with receipts, counterfoils, other evidence, etc. Next, come to income from investment and rent. See with reference to the property of investment register that all income should be received by way of rent on properties, dividend, interest on securities, etc. Legacies and donations. Ascertain that the legacies and donations received for specific purpose have been applied in correct manner. Then subscriptions. Trace all collections of subscriptions from cash book and registers. So properly check the subscription register if there is anything still outstanding. Check authorization and sanction. Vouch all purchases, all expenses, and verify the capital expenditure was incurred only with the sanction of the managing committee. And any appointment of new staff, any kind of incentive or increment is properly authorized. Grants and TDS. Verify grants, if any, received from government is properly accounted. As per AS 12. You have studied AS 12, government grants. All of you have studied AS 12. Okay. Also, if you have to claim any refund in TDS, that is properly claimed. Proper budgets, compare total items of expenditure and income with amount budgeted and report to trustees if there is any significant variation. Then internal check, examine internal check as regards receipt and issue of stores, medicine, linen. Linen means bedding, pillow cover, all that is linen. Apparatus, clothing, instruments. So as to see that ensure purchase has been properly recorded and proper inventory register is there and issues have already been made against proper authorization. Check depreciation is at correct rates, appropriate rates. Check all the registers. This is investment register. So, and property register. So, any kinds of bonds, scrips, title deed of properties properly in property and investment register. Check the inventories, obtain inventories, especially of stock in stores as at the end of the year. Check some percentage properly physically. And this is a generic point that properly get, this is SA 580. Get written representation of whatever you want to check. Is my voice breaking? Someone is saying my voice is breaking. Okay. See, now that we saw this answer, it feels it can be very heavy. But if you group it correctly under these heads, so if you're grouping it properly first into R, patients, register of patients, bills issued, attendance, cash and bank, then you will not find it very heavy to remember. Donations to check, legacy to check, grants to check, again specific purpose. Investment to check, rent to check, subscriptions to check, budget and sanction under E. Assets में inventories register, inventories internal control system, property depreciation and property register. Can you see? So if you think in this way, it will be easier to remember. Everyone clear? So audit of hospital is done. Okay, what is different between legacy? That's also explained in the last class. What did I explain in last class, students? What is difference between legacy and donation? Tell quickly. What is the difference between legacy and donation? Any one person? If you remember, otherwise I can revise for all of you. No. Yes. So legacy is something that is given at death of someone through will. So legacy is a specific kind of donation in which the money or the property comes because of the will of a deceased person. That is legacy. Is that clear? And donation can be any. Donation can be by a person, donation can be by an institution, it can be by a person who's alive. So that is why the words are given together, donations and legacies. Is that clear, Bushra? Okay. We are moving on to the next topic now. Audit of clubs. Before audit of clubs, let's do audit of cinema. Okay, let's do audit of cinema. Here we'll take a 5-minute break, then we'll come back and do it. Okay. Nisarji, technical team, can we take a 5-minute break, 5-10 minutes break? Is technical team there? Hello. Okay, I'm starting the 10-minute break here. It's exactly 7:25. We'll be back by 7:35. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm back. I hope you are back too. Are you all back? Quickly tell me if you're back so that I can start. Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's be back. We've just finished with the audit of hospitals, and now we are going to do the audit of cinema. Okay. So let's start. Very easy. Okay. I hope you have never been to hospital, but I hope you have been to some cinema theater. So again, let's use that formula. Let's imagine the real first, okay? REAL. One of the most important things in a cinema, what is the most important source of receipts? REAL, real, R. Receipts. What is the most important source of receipts? Biggest source, most material source of receipts? Ticket sales. So in ticket sales, we have to apply both R plus I. What does it mean I? I means why? SIP real. What is I am checking in ticket sales? It is receipt also plus what is the audit procedure I have to apply? Internal check. Okay. So for tickets, there should be proper internal control system. Okay. So if I talk about internal control system points, okay, let's talk about internal control system points. There should be proper mechanism of entrance, then printed tickets, serially numbered tickets. It should have proper show time. It should have proper show time. It should have proper screen number. Okay. All these things should be there in detail. Then if we talk about ticket sales, there should be something called as daily. I don't know what has happened suddenly. Daily ticket statement. Okay. So usually theaters prepare something called as daily ticket statements that you can reconcile with cash and bank book. Okay. This should be properly reconciled with cash and bank book. Then there should be proper accounting of any free passes. There should be proper accounting of any free passes given. So free passes should be properly accounted. Discounts should be properly accounted. All these things are very important when we are verifying or creating an audit program for ticket sales. Now, what is another thing about tickets? They usually have GST. Okay. So tax collection is at correct rate. So that should be there on all the tickets. On all the tickets, there should be proper GST collection. Okay. Now tell me other R. What is another source of income? Another source of receipt for a cinema theater? Quickly tell me another source of receipt for a cinema theater. Food. Okay. So there should be proper vouching and verification of restaurant income. Okay. Either you can receive like a fixed sum, or you might receive percentage of profit. You might receive percentage of profit. So you have to check properly. Okay. What is another source of income? What is another source of income for cinema theaters? One is ticket sales. Second is restaurant and food income. What is another source of income? Ads. Very good. So advertisement income auditor has to properly verify that advertisement is properly coming or not. Okay. Then what are the major expenses? So these are all R. There can be many other R's, but these are the three primary R's. Okay. What are the biggest expenses? Now let's talk about E. What are the one of the biggest expenses in running a cinema theater? Tell me. Maintenance, okay. So first is your normal establishment expenses, which means your maintenance, salary, small repairs, all these things. But one of the biggest expense of running a theater was correctly told by only one person at the start, that is Pranav Prince, is movie. Okay? It's the movie. So that's called as payments to distributors. What is it called? Payment to distributors of movie. Payment to movie distributors. That is the biggest expense. The biggest expense is getting the movie that you can see in the theater. Okay? And another one of the biggest expense, you can write and establish, you can write it separately also, is depreciation. Okay? Many of the theaters collapse because they can't maintain, because their assets depreciate. So depreciation is one of the biggest expense. Do you think there are any major liabilities? Do you think you can see a movie on udhari, on debt, on credit? So usually liabilities is not a major special point. Of course, they can have loans. Okay, loans and all can be there, but the book does not have is not considering liability to be a major special point. Is that clear? Okay, that's it. This is the simple answer, students. Okay, everyone done? Yeah, that is royalty, that you pay the money to distributors to show the movie. Just take the small screenshot, then I'll go to the book. This I've just given you an overview. We'll read detail in the book, okay? So we'll just see it quickly. Audit of cinema. Check the ticket sales, proper entrance, properly printed, serially numbered. It should show properly show and screen number. Daily ticket statement should be reconciled with cash and bank book. Free passes and discounts should be properly taken into account. Tax collection should be properly noted. Restaurant food income should be properly checked, whether we are receiving a fixed income or percentage of some profit. Next, we have to check all the advertisement income we receive. Then expenditure, we have to check normal maintenance, salary, repairs, etc. of day-to-day running expenses. Then payment to distributors. Sometimes you also pay advance to distributors and then the film gets cancelled. So you have to adjust that advance also. Then depreciation. Everyone clear? That's it. Let's come to the audit of cinema theater. What are the special steps involved? What are the special steps involved? First is internal control system. Check the entrance to cinema is properly through printed tickets. They're properly serial numbered. The number of ticket issued should show each show and class. There should be different numbers for different class on same day. Advance booking should be properly done through separate tickets. The inventory of tickets should be properly kept in custody of a responsible official. At the end of the show, statement of tickets sold is prepared and cash collected is agreed with it. Verify that a record of free passes issued should be properly there under proper authority. Reconcile the tax collected with total number of tickets issued and verify the tax returns filed each month. Verify entries in the cash book in respect of cash collected in the sale of tickets for different shows and verify with daily statements. Next, verify charges collected from advertisement and shots by reference to register of slides and shots exhibited at cinema, as well as agreements. You can check the agreements with the advertisers. Vouch the expenditure with respect to advertisement, repair, maintenance, etc. These are all revenue expenditure. Confirm that depreciation is properly done at the appropriate rate. Vouch payments on account of film hire with distributors. Okay, so you're hiring the movies, so bills to distributors are properly there, and you check the agreements. If there is any unadjusted balance due to advance paid to distributors against film hire, see that they are proper and recoverable. You can get that money back. If any film in respect of which advance was paid has already run, it should be inquired as to why advance is still not adjusted. So if the movie was very old, you know that movie released 2 years back and still the advance is showing, why is it not refunded to you? That you have to see. Arrangement for collection of the share in case of restaurant income, either a fixed sum or per fixed percentage. In case restaurant is run by the cinema, accounts should be properly checked, items of inventory, food purchases, etc. That's it. See, here it looks so scattered, but see, these are the points. That's it. Everyone clear? So you have to organize in your brain that I am not going to be confused just because there are one page of points, 11, 12 points. Points are at the end rotated between REAL and ICIP. Is that clear? So make it organized in your head. If it is organized in your head, it will be easy to write on the paper. Done. So audit of cinema is completed. Now come to audit of club. Audit of club will do directly from the book because again, similar points, similar structure. Okay. So there's nothing different in it. We'll do directly from the book. Come to audit of club. So till now, I write first and then we see the book. This time we'll see the book and organize it in our head. Okay. So let's see how we organize when we look directly at the book. Pay attention. So audit of club, what are the special steps involved? As usual, they should start with REAL, which means fees. So if it's a club, usually it's a recreation club. So there's a nice building, people can come and eat in the club, people can drink in the club, people can play some games in the club, there's a nice restaurant, they can play cards, that kind of recreation club, okay? So usually there will be some fees. So club, that's why I've mentioned it means recreation club, okay? Now club can be registered as per your thing. Usually it can be registered as a society also, or it can be a private entity also. Is that clear? Usually most of the old clubs, this Gymkhana and all this Cosmopolitan Club and all that, they are all registered as societies. Okay, societies and trusts. Country club. Country club is a company name, na? They have this hotels everywhere. That is not club. Club, I'm talking about a place where you can get membership and then you can go and, sit, eat food. But it's a recreation, anything for recreation purpose. That's a club. Anything is for recreation. It can have a swimming pool like that. So, audit of club, imagine a recreation club. So, as usual, one of the first R means receipts. One of the biggest thing will be entrance fees. Okay. So if any member application is given, so entrance here does not mean gate may entry. Entrance fees means you are getting membership of the club. So for that you pay entrance fee. That can be like 1 lakh, 2 lakh, depends on how valuable your club is. Okay. So that is called as entrance fee. where members give applications. So members give application that why you should make me a member of your club. So that entrance fee is there, counterfoil should be there, and reference to minutes that managing committee have accepted them as a member. So for that, reference to minutes should be there. Then subscriptions. So usually members have subscriptions in the club, that I am subscribed to the tennis club, I am subscribed to the bridge membership club. So within the club also, the members can pay subscription fees for different types of services. So there's swimming pool, so I'm paying an additional subscription for the swimming pool. Okay. So entrance fee is the fee to become a member of the club. And then within the club, there can be multiple facilities. And out of 15-20 facilities, you can choose which facilities you subscribe to. And that is how you become, you pay subscription fees. Is that clear? Let's imagine, for example, I'm giving a very hypothetical example. Suppose Amazon, let's imagine if Amazon or Facebook is a club. Okay, Amazon is a club. To make your Amazon account, suppose they ask for money. And then to get Amazon Prime, they ask for separate money. And then within Amazon Prime, if you have to go for some Peacock subscription, then that's a separate money. That's separate. So within the club, if there is subscription for different activities, that is called a subscription fees. Everyone clear? So some members may say, I don't drink, so I'm not taking any alcohol related activity. I'm only taking, let's say, swimming related or table tennis related subscription. Okay. So next kind of income, this you keep getting regularly. Entrance fees you usually get only once. Yes. But subscription fees you can get on regular basis. Okay. So members subscriptions with counterfoils of receipt issued, trace receipts for a selected period to register of members, reconcile the total subscriptions with total amount collected and any outstanding. So clubs can have an outstanding problem. So whenever you're an auditor of a club, keep an eye on outstanding problems. Okay. See arrears. See separately it's given. Arrears of subscription. So ensure that arrears of subscription for previous year is correctly brought over, and arrears for the year under audit and subscription received in advance have been correctly adjusted. Arithmetical accuracy. Check total of various columns of register of members and then tally them across. This is just to check total members so that you can get overview of income and expense. Okay. Irrecoverable man. What did I tell you in any club audit? So any club audit that even I have done, one of the major problems because of which clubs suffer is that after paying entrance fees, the members can become very indisciplined with clearing outstanding money to the club. So arrears and outstandings of subscriptions or membership dues are a huge problem. So sometimes some club also demand that even though you have paid entrance fee, you also have to pay a yearly maintenance fee. So that also can become a due. So irrecoverable member due, see the member of registers to ascertain members' dues. Now this due can be due to subscriptions. Suppose you ordered some food and then you did not pay. You told, okay, I'll pay. You collect my money, I'll clear once in a week. So that you didn't clear. So that also becomes a member's due. So which are in arrear, and inquire whether necessary steps have been taken for the recovery. If it is irrecoverable, mention in your audit report. Pricing. Now, you know why people become members of the club? People become members because usually the food is at much cheaper rate but good quality than outside. So when people become member of a club, they pay a huge amount of money, but they get food at good rate, at lower rate than others, alcohol at lower rate than others, facilities at lower rate than others, gym facility at lower rate than outside. So for many such reasons, they can become members. So usually you have to check as an auditor that proper internal check is there, that members are being charged with price of food stuff and drinks provided to them, and their guests. So usually guests can have a different charge. So they are chargeable with special services like billiards, tennis, and all. So suppose I am member of a club. Suppose for me tennis is just 50 rupees per hour. But if I'm bringing a friend who is not a member of the club, then for them the fees might be 200 rupees. So as an auditor, you have to check that there is proper detailed records of how many guests and members came, and the guests have been charged at their special rate. Then member accounts. Trace debits for a selected period from subsidiary registers maintained in respect of supplies and services to members to confirm that account of every member has been debited with amount recoverable. What does this mean? See, this is very special point. See, if you are checking, let's say, within the club, there is a restaurant. So let's say restaurant in the month of May 2025 had some expenses and some incomes. So here you have a total of expenses and income in May 2025. But you don't just check restaurant. So suppose there is Mr. A is a member, Mr. B is a member, Miss C is a member. Maintain accounts of each member. So Mr. A, in May month, from restaurant, they use 10,000 rupees of service. From swimming pool, they use 5,000 of service. Like that. From billiards, they used 200 rupees of service. So, other than your normal accounts of each facility, maintain accounts of each member. Did you understand? Did everyone get this point? So you don't just have to maintain club accounts or restaurant accounts. You need to maintain member accounts. It's like a passbook. You all have seen a passbook. If you are a customer of a bank, you can each have a passbook which will have details of the transactions you do. Same way, when you're a member of a club, you can have a members account in which whatever you did with the club in during that month, whatever services you used, that is added in that member account. So as an auditor, do we need to check that member accounts? Yes, to see what supplies were given to me, what services were given to me, and that I can reconcile with other records. Is that clear? Then purchases. So as an auditor, we need to check all the purchases like sport items, furniture, crockery, etc. from the inventory registers. If you are earning anything from the pricing, so food, cigar, wine, etc. That's why I told you all this old style officers club, gymkhana and all these are like people go and drink cigar, they have wine, all that things. Test their sale price as to confirm that normal rates of gross profit have been earned. The inventory on unsold provisions and stores at the end of the year should be physically verified and its valuation should be properly checked. Then you check inventory. Check inventory of furniture, sports material, assets physically with inventory register. Then any investments, check shares, bonds, etc. of any investments done, proper disclosure of current value, their custody satisfactory, and management power. Examine financial powers of the secretary. If they have violated, this is called ultra virus. Okay. Any cases of ultra virus use. So this is how it is if you read from the book. Now let's divide it. What is entrance fee? We are checking receipts. Okay. Again, subscription, what are we checking? Receipts. Arrears of subscription, this is part of receipt, but it becomes your asset. Any kind of arrears. No, you check constitution that as a club, what are you registered as? So when you go and audit a club, first ask them the basic constitution documents, that how are they registered, why are they registered, under which act they are registered. So they can be registered under some state act also. Is that clear? They can be registered under some state act also. So that's why I cannot tell that it will always be society act. So arrears of subscription. Okay. Here also we are continuing to check members, and also we are doing only R and plus internal check system. Irrecoverable member dues. Again, this can become our asset, which are going for irrecoverability. Then pricing and all, again, receipts we are checking. Member accounts, assets we are checking, plus receipts we are checking. Purchases, expenditure we are checking. Margins earned, again, receipts we are checking. Inventories we are checking assets. Investments we are checking assets. And this is a generic point. So anything revolves around this only. Is that clear? Any doubt in audit of club? Okay. Okay. I'll make a flow chart for you. Okay. So this I wanted to do an opposite method. So till now I was making flow chart first. Then we went to the book. So you felt it simpler. Now I wanted to show you when you just read the book and then we do flow chart, then what happens. Okay. Let's do that. So audit of club. First, let's make a general title, members. What all can we earn from the members? We can earn entrance fees. Okay, ma'am, we can earn entrance fees. We can earn subscriptions. But what can happen in subscriptions? There can be arrears, ma'am. There can be arrears, ma'am. Then, if there are arrears, some things can be irrecoverable. Some things can be irrecoverable. How do we know? Check members' accounts. Check members' accounts and reconcile everything. Okay? And check arithmetical accuracy of members. Arithmetical accuracy means what am I checking? Number of members. Check number of members. So the arithmetical accuracy is something, but what are we at the end of the day checking? We're checking number of members. Okay. To these members, we are selling things. Okay. To these members, we are selling things. So what price are we selling? So what are we selling to them? We are selling them services. We are selling them goods, food, cigar, wine. So what pricing are we keeping? How much margin are we earning? How much margin are we earning when we are doing that? Okay. Then what are the expenses I'm doing? I'm purchasing all these things that I'm selling. To be able to sell, I need to purchase. So all this should be done properly. And so this becomes your expenditure. And because of purchases, there will be inventories. So this becomes your asset. So inventories should be checked properly. Then what is another asset? Another asset, investments should be checked. That's it. See, can you see the answer in such a small form? Now keep your book open. See, what was the first point? Entrance fee. Okay. So here we finished. Entrance fee. What was the second point? Subscription. What did we do here? Subscription. What was the next point? Arrears of subscription. Then what did we do? Arrears of subscription. Then some are irrecoverable. So irrecoverable member dues. Then what are we checking? We are checking the arithmetical accuracy of members, which means number of members. Okay. Then we are checking arithmetical accuracy, number of members. Then what are we checking? We are checking a member accounts. So what are we checking here? That all the member accounts are properly tallied. Then to these members, we are selling things. So is there proper pricing and proper margin? So what is this? Proper pricing and proper margins are being earned. Then R is done. Then expenditure, main, all purchases are properly checked. Then assets, inventories are properly checked. Then investments are properly checked. Did you see? And lastly, for internal check, you can check management powers are properly checked. Can you see now the whole answer in a small form? Everyone clear now? This is how my brain is thinking the answer. Your brain can get confused when it is seeing like this. But organize in your brain. So this is what I call a mind map, which means when I am remembering answer, this is my link. I think of club, then I think of members. Okay, members I think. Then I think of entrance fee. Okay. Which means subscription means some arrears, some irrecoverable. How do I tally all are there? Check the arithmetical accuracy. How do I check each member's overdue? Check the accounts. Okay. I'm selling things to the members. What price am I selling? What margin am I keeping for them? How am I purchasing all the things I'm selling to them? What is the inventory of the things I'm keeping with them? Is there any extra money I am having? Am I keeping it as an investment? And is my management doing the job correctly? Do you see how my brain is thinking? It is connecting one point to other point. That is how if you do, you will remember for a long time. Everyone clear now? Hmm. Hello. Okay. Okay, then audit of club is also done. Now come to audit of hotels. Audit of hotels. Audit of hotels. So audit of hotels is an answer in which you have to be very specific. You have to follow the book. It has been asked many times. It's asked after every one or two exams. It's definitely there in some or the other way. So it's a very important question. And as much as you stick to the book, it's better. Okay. So audit of hotels, I'll first make the answer for you. So in audit of hotels, as usual, the first most important thing is internal check, internal control system. As usual, the internal control system is important in hotel industry due to a problem called as pilferage. That's why I told you it's a very specific answer. Pay attention, okay? How many of you know what pilferage means? Pilferage. Thank you, Virali. You will do. It will come with practice, okay? It will come with practice. The way that we can see the points, link them, and compress them. It will come with time and practice, okay? It will come. Stealing something, small wastages. Good, good. So, do you know why there is pilferage problem? Why pilferage is one of the most important internal control in a hotel? What do people do? What do people do? Quickly tell me, what happens? Why is pilferage such a big nuisance in hotel industry? Spoon, utensil, pillow covers people take. From the lamp, they take the bulb. From the TV remote, they take. Batteries, they take. Bed sheets, they take. Towel, they take. So that is why cutlery they can take sometimes. One or two spoons have gone missing. Small plates have gone missing. Bowls have gone missing. Okay. So pilferage is one of the biggest problems, and they are such small items that it's very difficult in hotel industry. And shampoo soap is okay because it is for you to take away. You can take shampoo and soap, but you cannot take battery. You cannot take towel. So hotel industry has a good internal control system for curbing this pilferage, because in small quantities you would feel it's just one towel, it's just one spoon, but this can become in aggregate very material. So it may be immaterial in small individually, but it can become very material when taken in aggregate, right? So pilferage is one of the most important things. So internal control should, ICAS should minimize the pilferage. What should internal control system do? It should minimize the pilferage. So what should be done? There should be proper weekly, daily reports should be prepared to ensure that these things are not happening. Do you know what is normal loss? Everyone knows what's a normal loss. Everyone knows what's a normal loss. Yes. So when you are studying someone's trading account or P&L or manufacturing account, if you're studying, you can know that if the amount is more than normal loss, you can inquire, you can ask questions. So that is why in pilferage also, when the loss is more than normal, you can inquire, you can ask questions, all these can be done. Then second place where lot of frauds happen, leakages happen, is kitchen, food. Okay, so now if in a hotel there is a restaurant, and in the restaurant, 50 kg tomato is there, 60 kg onion is there, like that it's there. How can you account that whether that many people ate? So there is something called as KOT. It's called as kitchen order tickets. This you can reconcile with bills. What does it mean? Pay attention. KOT, you can reconcile with bills. Let's say that Pranav and Tanu have are auditor of a hotel. Okay. So they are checking restaurant bills. Now I am the manager of the hotel, and I told them this is our full bills bundle. Take it. Pranav and Tanu are properly checking bills with cash. Oh yes, ma'am, all done. Bills and bank account are tallied and cash balance is tallied, so everything is okay. But I'm saying that this month, from the bills that you have checked, the income is, let's say, 5 lakh rupees. But in the kitchen, the ration that has been used is for 4 lakh rupees. So, if 4 lakh rupees of ration is used, the income as per industry standard should be 7 lakh rupees. But if 4 lakh of ration is used and income is only 5 lakh, which means ration was used but it did not come as income, which means people ate food and left and no bill was made. Is that a possibility? Is that a possibility? That food was made, food was served, but no bill was made, people just ate and left. Then what do I do? But if food was made, chef prepared it, yes or no? If food was made, chef prepared it. So usually there is something called as KOT, kitchen order tickets, in which when waiter takes order, they give those order details to the chef, and from that they make the food. If you have taken food from McDonald's and all, have you seen that once your order and bill is made, there is a list displayed on the TV screen that these many orders are being prepared. This is the order: two fries are being prepared, three burgers are being prepared, three shakes are being prepared. So that detail is maintained, that how much food was prepared in the kitchen. And then you can identify the gap. Is that clear to everyone? So this can help you find leakages in revenue. Okay. So you can find revenue leakage to ensure that people are actually paying money. Then the third important thing is occupancy rate. See, in hotel, if someone stayed for one night, okay? So if Pooja stayed in a hotel for one night and that hotel manager didn't bill her, she's my friend, she can stay for one night and go. And like that, that hotel manager had hundreds of friends who came and stayed for one night, and there was no bill for that. Do you think you might find a gap in it? Because if you knew about occupancy rate, what occupancy rate? It means that I cannot go in the history and read all the CCTV cameras. I cannot see all the CCTV cameras, how many people entered, how many people exited. Okay. But I can have an idea that if you are XYZ hotel in Ooty in winter season, there would be at least occupancy of 90%. So that is your average as per past records, that the hotel is occupied for 90% of days. Can I calculate a general income from it? Can I calculate a general income from it? That number of rooms multiplied by room rate multiplied by 365 into occupancy rate. So I can get an overview of how much approximate income should have been there. And if the income is very less or extremely high in compared to this, then I can ask questions and go in detail. Is that clear? Then I can ask questions and go in detail. All right. So this is basics about internal control. Then, of course, one of the most important sources of income, sources of R, is room sales plus hall bookings. What does it mean by hall bookings? What does it mean by hall bookings? Yes, functions, conference, marriage functions, birthday parties, all these things. So from there also management can get income. So here you can check a few guest bills. You can check registers, booking register, guest registers. So this you can check. Cash and bank you can check. This here it is one very interesting, you know what? Indirect way of checking. Housekeeping register. What is housekeeping? People who clean the room. So people who clean the room maintain a register that today how many rooms did I clean? Housekeepers usually prepare a daily report that so many rooms were occupied. Next day, so many rooms were checked out. So many rooms I checked and cleaned. Do you know that? Housekeeper, जो housekeeping होती है hotels में, they maintains housekeeper register. So that you can use as reconciliation. So if on 29th April, housekeeping is saying that I cleaned 20 rooms, then there should have been at least 20 rooms showing billed for that day. Do you understand? Everyone clear? Okay. Then what do we check? The third thing we check is an asset, that is your inventories. In real life, is this possible? Of course, you need to audit. But housekeeper register na, in small hotels, it's very difficult to find. Only in very corporate hotels you might find. But in small hotels, very, very difficult. So your question is correct. You might not find. See, internal control systems become better when the organization becomes bigger. In smaller organizations, smaller hotels, smaller businesses, internal controls are always a little more unorganized and informal than in bigger. But as the businesses grow bigger, their internal control systems become more and more organized. So it's possible, Balya Patro, that if you start with a small audit, you might not find all these details. So you have to use more of your common sense and whatever is available at that time for you to check from that records. Okay. Okay. So inventories needs to be checked properly. Next is fixed assets. Very important part. Very important part. Fixed assets. So in hotel industry, there is something called as quasi fixed assets. So I'm asking you a question. Suppose I'm running a very heritage hotel. Suppose I'm running some hotel in Jaipur, Udaipur, these big palaces. Okay. So I'm running some hotel in this big palace style, and I have all this old ancient silver cutlery, spoon, bowl, all these things are in silver. Now, do I classify it as stores or do I classify it as a fixed asset? That silver heavy cutlery, ancient antique cutlery, should I classify it as stores, crockery, or should I classify it as fixed assets? So when an asset that is usually stores or inventory has qualities of a fixed asset, then it is called as what asset? Quasi fixed asset. Then it is called as quasi fixed asset. Okay. So you have to check accounting policy for treatment of this. You have to check accounting policy for the treatment of this quasi fixed asset. Everyone clear? You have to check accounting policy for the treatment of the quasi fixed asset. Okay. So that you need to do because it can differ from hotel to hotel, but it should not change every year. So once you have fixed a policy, you have to follow it consistently. In that, you also, this fixed assets, you also have to see repairs, maintenance, whether they are capital, whether they are revenue. So all this you have to check properly. Okay. Next important thing about a hotel is casual labor. What does it mean by casual labor? Quickly tell me. What does it mean by casual labor? Casual labor means temporary. Season अच्छा चल रहा है, high season, more laborers. Down season, low season, all are gone. Then waiters turnover is also very high. So in hotel industry, there is huge, way of doing casual labor work. So when the season is good, so high season time, they'll have more staff. Low season time, they'll not have that staff. So as an auditor, it's very difficult for me to verify casual labor. So I have to check that properly management has done internal control system, maintained records of labor, basic KYC, what payments they gave them, all these basic details are properly maintained or not. Otherwise, management can use casual labor as a way of showing expenses and fraud risk area. It becomes a fraud risk area. Yes, Archana. So casual labor can become a fraud risk area. So that is why we need to be careful. Next way of next important point in hotel is travel agents. So if you have any travel agents in the this thing, so any booking for let's say day tour and all is done through travel agents, so commission paid and all to them, that is checked. And last is shops. So many hotels have nice shops, jewelry shop, this souvenir shops, clothes, local textile shops. So all these shops you can get rent income. If it is your own shop, you can get profit. You have to check their inventory and all you have to check. So audit of hotels, internal control you have to check in detail. You have to check room sales and hall booking, inventories, fixed assets, casual labor, travel agent and shops. You can take the screenshot, students, quickly. You can take the screenshot quickly. Done. Screenshot taken. Write down at home. Yes, Bushra, I've already mentioned here. In fixed assets, you can check all this. Repairs, maintenance, depreciation, you can check in fixed assets. Clear, Bushra? Hmm. Defalcation means any kind of mistake or something that should not be done. So, for example, you asked me a question, and if I'm not able to reply, that's a defalcation from my side. Good, Virali, good. All right, so this is done. All right, let's come to the book and then we are done with this answer. Okay. So, audit of hotels, quickly come. We'll do it quickly. Audit of hotels, special considerations. Please mark it as specially important. First important thing is internal. Pilfering is one of the greatest problems in any hotel, and importance of internal control cannot be undermined. It is responsibility of the management to introduce controls which will minimize the leakage as far as possible. Evidence of their success is provided by preparation of regular, perhaps weekly trading accounts for each sales point and a detailed scrutiny of the resulting profit percentages, with any deviation from anticipated form being investigated. Auditors should obtain these regular trading accounts for the period under review, examine them, obtain explanations for any apparent deviations. The auditor should verify a few restaurant bills with reference to KOT, kitchen order tickets, or some basic records. This would enable the auditor to ensure that controls regarding revenue cycle are in order. The auditor should satisfy himself that all taxes are properly collected from occupants on food and occupation have been paid over to the proper authorities. If the internal control of a hotel is weak and perhaps break down, this is a very serious problem. As a result of the transient nature of many of his clients, what is transient? Temporary nature. Okay, transient is temporary nature. As a result of the transient nature of many of his clients' records, the auditor must rely on very large extent on gross margin shown by the books. As a result, scope of his test audit will necessarily be increased, and in event of material margin discrepancy unexplained, you will have to reconsider qualifying his report. What does this mean? It means the same thing. We cannot check everything, and that is why we use analytical procedures like this. Is that clear? I cannot check each and every KOT, Each and every restaurant bill made in 365 days by thousands of customers and lakhs of people who have stayed. So I have to use analysis as a very strong tool. So you must have studied SA 520, right? We have to use analytical procedures in detail, in depth, so that we can do audit of hotels properly. Now, room sales and hall bookings. The charge for room sales is normally posted to guest bills by receptionist or front office, or in case of large hotels, by night auditor. The source of these entries is invariably the guest register. An audit test should be carried out to ensure that correct number of guests are charged for correct period. Any difference between charge rate used on the guest bill and the standard room rate should be investigated. So if the standard room rate is 2,300 and the guest is charged 1,500, why? That it is properly authorized. In many hotels, housekeeper prepares a daily report of rooms which were occupied the previous night and number of beds kept in each room. This report tends not to be permanently retained, and auditor should ensure that a sufficient number of reports are available for him to test both with the guest register and with individual guest bill. The auditor should ensure that proper valuation of occupancy in progress at the balance sheet date is made available. See occupancy in progress and included in accounts. The auditor should ensure that proper records are maintained, etc., etc. Next, come to inventories. Inventories in any hotel, ma'am, in case of casual labor, management might manipulate by booking long labor expense, right? How can auditor catch them? Very difficult. You have to do trend analysis only. You have to do trend analysis that normally there should be 150 laborers only. How come you are showing only 90? Or how come you are showing 300? Okay. Even franchisee business, can we follow same process? Yes. You just have to study the franchisee agreement in detail, the terms and conditions of sharing. Inventories in any hotel are both readily portable also and saleable also, like food and beverage. It is therefore extremely important that all movement and transfer of such inventories should be properly documented to enable control to be exercised over each individual store areas and sales point. The auditor should carry out tests to ensure that all documentation is accurately processed. Areas where large quantity of inventories are held should be kept locked. The key should be with the manager. The key should be released only to trusted person, and unauthorized person should not be permitted in the stores. In particular, any movement in or out of the store should be checked. Many hotels use specialized professional valuers to take and value the inventory on continuous basis throughout the year. Such valuation is then almost invariably used as the basis for balance sheet inventory figure at the year end. Although such valuers are independent of audit client, it is important that auditor satisfy himself that amount included for such inventory is reasonable. The auditor should consider attending the physical inventory taken. Do you remember SA 501? And carrying out certain pricing and calculation tests. The extent of such tests should be limited since figures will be prepared independently. Next is fixed assets. Accounting policy for fixed assets of individual hotels can be different. Many hotels account for certain quasi-fixed assets such as silver and cutlery on inventory basis. This can lead to confusion between each inventory item and similar assets which are accounted on more normal forms. In such cases, that there is proper detailed definition of each type of inventory, an auditor should carry out that it has properly followed. Auditor should see cost of repairs, renovation, decoration are treated as revenue expenditure. And if there is any major alteration, it should be capitalized. Casual labor. The hotel trade operates to a very large extent on casual labor. The records maintained of such wage payments are inadequate. So you have to ensure that defalcation on any of this account should not take place. Any kind of wrongdoing should not take place. Travel agents. For ledgers coming through travel agents or other booking agencies, bills are usually made on travel agents, booking agencies. Auditor should ensure that money was properly recovered from them. If any commission has been paid to travel agent, there should be proper agreement verification. That's it. So we are done with audit of hotel, everyone. Clear? The same we have done short, quickly here. Done, everyone? We'll quickly do some MCQs just for the whole chapter 9 revision. Very quick, less than 1 minute. I want you to give answers quickly. C&AG is appointed by, you should not forget what you studied first. C&AG is appointed by C&AG of India, the President of India. C&AG can be removed from office only on grounds of proven misbehavior and incapacity. Most of you have given correct answer. Local fund audit wing generally audits. Local fund audit wing generally audits what? Municipal accounts. Good. NGO receiving foreign contributions must comply with. NGO receiving foreign contributions must comply with Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. While auditing an NGO, earmarked funds refer to correct. Funds restricted for a specific use. Small LLPs are exempted from audit if turnover and contribution are LLPs are exempted from audit if turnover and contribution are 40 and 25 lakhs. Which of the following is not an objective of municipal audit? Reporting on legal compliance, ensuring value for money, providing better civic amenities, reporting on internal control weakness. Which of the following is not an objective of municipal audit? C. I don't have to see this. Legal compliance, I have to check. Value of money, I have to check. Legal internal control weakness, I have to see. But not better civic amenities. That's it. We are done for today. I hope you enjoyed the class. Today was a very, very different class where I was trying to teach you how to think. Sochna kaise hai? That was the most important thing. And of course, you have to do this. This MCQ will be shared by Board of Studies. You'll get it, okay? But both these are like just, see, these are not case studies MCQ. These MCQs are just so that I can know that you are listening to me. That's it. You are listening to me is that only I want to check. So these are not some very special case studies kind of MCQs. These are the purpose is so that we can do a quick recap of what we studied today or in this chapter. Okay. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the class and thank you and good night. Take care. See you in the next class.